Hey you guys, Corey Franciscus here of Core Yoga Movement. I wanted to share this short video with you that is a wrist mobility flow, and it's related to the previous video from Monday where I showed you 5 different hand positions that emphasize wrist extension and then a little bit of wrist flexion and hand mobility. That previous video, if you're newer to weight bearing in your hands and working the wrists in that way, some of those positions were maybe held too long. So I want to show you a different approach, which is more of a flow and less time in each of those hand positions, and just see how that feels. Okay, so we'll start off the same way: quadruped, tabletop, all fours, whatever you want to call it. You're on your hands and your knees, shoulders over the wrist. Spread the fingers. Soften the elbows a little bit, especially if you tend to hyperextend. Keep the elbows soft and move the shoulder blades down your back. Tighten the low belly, and then you'll just start circles here. Moving around the wrist joint, moving into extension as the shoulders come forward, over the fingers, go the other way. Feel your knuckles press down, weight bearing in the hands. Second position, the hands turn out to the side. And you're going to shift side to side like you did in that previous video, but now we're going to add a little, the hand comes into the air, you open and close. So working some active mobility of the hands and the wrists, weight bearing on the other hand. Just going back and forth. Keep the low belly tight and the neck long to support you, so all the weight isn't dumping into your hands. Good. And then the third position, the fingers turn back towards your knees the best you can. Again, keep the elbows soft and the shoulder blades on your back, and you can pulse back and forth. Feel this all the way up the forearms. And then if you want, you can find that like cat back, so flexion of the spine, wiggling into that space between your shoulder blades. The shoulder blades themselves, you can start to mobilize them. There's really no right or wrong, just explore, because movement is how we create space, right? It hydrates our tissues. And then bring the hands forward, turn them inward. Here's our fourth position in wrist extension. And then bend and straighten the elbows. Keeping the fingers lightly gripping the floor. Maybe the elbows straighten all the way, maybe they don't. Feel free to flex and extend the spine, rounding and arching. Then tuck your toes under so you get a little plantar fascia foot release here as you sit your hips back to your heels. Bring the hands closer to the knees and now flip them around so the palms are up. Now wiggle the fingers around, maybe traction the hands away from each other. Good, and then make fists, come forward into that all fours position, and then just push the floor away. Feel that wrist. Look at your wrist with your eyes and just think strong and stable. Like if somebody was going to try to push you to either side, you're holding yourself strong from the wrist and really your core. And then we'll take the fists, sit up onto your heels, the little springing action like you're flicking water. Flick, flick, flick. Sit up tall and breathe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, breathe, feel the energy in your hands. Bring the hands together in prayer, push and rub, push and rub. And then just resting your hands on your heart space. Lift the heart into the hands. And just bowing the chin. It's a moment of gratitude for this practice, for this body, and for our life. Release that. You might want to come forward and just tap out the tops of the feet. And there you have it. A little bit more of a flow to get into the wrists, a little bit into the feet. Thank you for practicing. Leave a comment. Let me know how your experience is. I appreciate it. Namaste.